Hey everybody, welcome to Everything Under the Sun. We talked about a lot of things today. We have Stephanie and Nathan and Elliot here with us. Hello everyone.
What's up, guys?
What was your favorite part that we talked about? We talked about
We talked about a lot of stuff.
We talked about our death row meals. We didn't call it that, but it's like
exactly.
This was not a last meal. This was a feast in our honor.
A feast in your honor.
Well, yeah.
But
And then I equated it to.
You never. I mean,
yeah. Nathan's the one.
Yeah.
You won the Nobel Peace Prize, and you get a feast. What do you eat?
Snakes.
We
Lots
did.
of
For a little bit.
snakes.
We
I
talked
whistled
about arachnids.
poorly. Stephanie made fun of my whistling.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
well.
true.
Oh,
I was nervous.
We heard an engagement
Yeah,
story.
exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we did.
Stephani's side
Yeah.
of. She said her side of the engagement.
It's true. Lots of
Okay.
babbling.
So
happening.
It was
We'll
whatever.
see who's more accurate.
Yeah, we'll have to compare episodes, right?
We,
to see whose story.
Yeah, but
We had some interesting questions. Just you
Very,
know,
very
had some.
Elliot was sort of the MC with the questions, so
Thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
did a search for some random questions
Yeah.
and found a site with some decent.
If you're-
Normally, when you do a search like that, there's terrible
Yeah,
questions.
I was talking with Elliot before the podcast started when no one else was here yet. And I was saying, normally those searches, you get, the worst, cringiest questions.
And
off
these
of
were
Google.
actually some pretty
And he
decent
started
questions.
listing them off. I was like, these are actually good, I was very, very surprised.
it went very well. If you're
It
interested
did.
in our
It did.
answers to Elliot's questions, stay tuned.
What's the best or worst practical joke you've played on someone or that was played on you?
So we got really crazy into practical jokes when we were doing a preteen camp one time. We were the college volunteers doing the preteen camp, and so we had messed. The guy counselors had really messed with the girl counselors. We put a scorpion in their room and put cheese in their pillowcases and all kinds of stuff. Oh, we put Kool-Aid in this girl's shampoo that I didn't know that it was $100 shampoo. So she started washing her hair and
Kool-Aid actually dyes people's hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why they did it. That's the point.
That's the
Yes, I do know that. The old trick was put it in the shower head, but we couldn't get the shower heads off, so we put it in her shampoo.
even better,
Yeah.
yes.
Go directly to the source.
Yes.
So we've been doing stuff like that all week. They decided to get the guys back by those big, huge pixie stick things, like the giant pixie sticks where you have to cut it open with a saw. Mm-hmm. They had filled those the night before. They cut them open, filled them with salt, and then sealed them back, stapled them back where it looks like it's still. And so they were giving those to the guy counselors as they got on the bus. Hey, thanks for all you did at camp. And every single one had already done it. I was the last one up. All of the guys were standing there. So this was not just the girls played a prank on me. The people that should have been warning me, said nothing. They stood there and watched me do it.
They turned on you. They
Yes.
turned on you.
Of just straight salt. And they're like, yeah, they got all of us. I was like, why did you allow me to do that then? Band of brothers.
Yes.
They just wanted me to do it because they had been bested. I should have not been bested. They should have not gotten
But you got bested.
I did get bested, but it took both of them. It took both. They came together.
It's so funny.
I know. But that's not the worst one.
That's not the worst one.
Go ahead. Somebody else.
Do
have
you,
another
do you have
I
one?
mean,
I mean, a little bit. It
By
was
all
one Maddie
means.
and I played on Daniel Ward, of course, and of course he deserved it.
Is this a good one or a bad one?
It was decent. It was decent. So Mission Arlington. We're trying to
Mission
witness.
Arlington, 2017.
It might have been. No, it was before then.
Last year.
It was maybe 2016.
Okay.
That might have been it. So
It was a dark day.
Yes. We're trying to witness to kids, as you do at Mission Arlington. Meanwhile, Daniel Ward was pelting all of us with acorns the whole time. He was sitting in his little lawn chair pelting us with acorns. Maddie and I got
such a
fed up.
supportive youth minister.
So Maddie and I filled our backpacks with acorns. Daniel Ward hates having things in his bed, like no food, no nothing in his bed. So we put acorns in his hamper, his suitcase, all under his sheets and things like that, all in his everything. and then we set a single acorn like on his pillowcase, but all the acorns were like hidden, so he couldn't see them. And so then he's like, "LOL, acorn," and then goes to bed that night, and there's acorns everywhere. So
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty decent.
I'm sure he did not enjoy that.
No,
but
he doesn't.
everyone,
But he deserved
everyone else
it.
did.
Yeah, that's why people
Everyone
go
else
crazy
did.
and go on a murdering spree.
Yes.
Because they find acorns and everything.
That's funny.
Nathan?
Honestly, I haven't been a part of many, if any, like practical jokes.
Yeah.
Like not
It's a
any that
dangerous
I
place
can.
to say that, Nathan, because
The thing is, none that I
just got
can
eggs
actually.
in their yard again.
Oh goodness! I mean, there
Mine-
is one very embarrassing story of a practical joke. So, it was a really long time ago. I was probably like 11 or 12 or something like that, and had one of my buddies over to stay the night, and we were like, "Oh, it'd be funny if we toilet papered our own house." It's bad. It doesn't make any sense. It wasn't even
This
good.
is a prank on your parents?
Yes. And we gotcha. Now go clean it up.
Okay, well, I guess.
Okay, I'll go get the trash can. But
You're just supposed to just light it on fire, right? You just like
yeah,
put
you
the
just
toilet paper in.
of course,
Brick
just
house, of
burn
course, right?
everything. Arson. But we were we went outside, and of course, being like the ignorant 12-year-olds we were, like we only got like a couple things of toilet paper, put the piece on the car and some in the tree. Like, it just wasn't good.
It's
And my parents were like,
one long toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
It's
My
like,
parents
the,
were
it's
like-
like the perfect throw. You get
On
that
each
perfect
tree,
mark,
there's just one
completely
line.
rolls.
but it wasn't good. They were like, "Oh, you toilet papered the house." I was like, "Yeah, that's funny." And they're like, "Why were you out of the house at 1:30 in the morning?" But it didn't work out well. No.
I had to. My friend's mom was one of those, like, I'm going to be the cool mom.
Oh no.
Yeah. She was not cool. She really, really wanted to be cool. And so one time for his birthday party, like, she took, like, all of us in her Suburban, packed in there. This was like, we were in middle school. She's like, shoved us. Nobody's wearing seatbelts. I wasn't thinking about this when I was a middle schooler. Now when I think about this story, I'm like, it gives me like heart palpitations because I think about being responsible for students. But like, we're
Why
just
did- why
shoved
did we
in
do
there.
this?
Nobody is buckled. Like, people are on top of each other. She's taking us to go wrap houses. She had bought like a bunch of.
No way.
Yeah, she took us to go wrap houses. She's like, isn't this cool? Do you like me now? She took us to go wrap houses, and we got pulled over.
Oh no.
Oh,
And so the cop is like, you're an adult. Like, she's getting chewed out by a cop. And she thinks, she's like, oh, it'll be fine. And she's like, we're just wrapping houses. And he's like, that's illegal. Like, I don't know. She didn't know that. She's like, I could arrest you right now.
oh my gosh! And you have like,
She's like, she's like, explain it to the cop. Like, I'll explain it to him. We're messing with their friends. That's what we're doing, officer. Can we go now? He's like,
So,
That
he's like,
poor
none of these kids are
kid.
buckled.
so back in the day when we did Disciple Nows, ours were co-ed. Like the guys and the girls we all stayed at the same house.
Yeah.
But I know.
Calamity.
Although for me it was the opposite of what it normally is, where there was a ton more girls and few guys. And so me and the other guy that were staying at this one house got the bedroom, and all the girls had to sleep out in the living room. It was kind of funny. But the funny part was this was a time when wrapping houses was big too.
Yeah.
And it was like
probably the same exact time.
All right, yeah. Anyways.
No one had phones.
No one had phones. Couldn't get in trouble. But so it was a thing for the different houses to wrap each other's house.
Yeah.
So the house we were staying at had gotten supplies for us to protect the house. So we had 30 cans of silly string and water balloons with water balloon launchers and just all kinds of stuff. And we're all like hiding out in the yard. And this van with all these kids comes and pulls into the driveway, and all these kids start jumping out with like rolls of toilet paper and everything, and we just start unloading on them, and like cover the windshield with silly string. They have to stop down the road and get off and clean the windshield off. Well, the kids that I'm staying with, instead of just leaving it at that, chase the car down to the end of the road where it turns off, and it's coming back, and they think that it's the car that has all these kids in it, and
Oh,
they
no.
throw a water balloon and just nail it square in the side of the door, and it was the wrong car. All of a sudden, we hear tires screeching and all this kind of, and kids just yelling at the top, saying, "Oh my gosh, we gotta go!" Start running back to the house, like, "Everybody inside! Everybody inside!" And we all hid back inside, and luckily they never found us. But it was
So y'all
it was
escaped.
nuts. We got away with that one. We did not get pulled over. We did not.
A similar story about hitting a car with like an object. So my cousin lives like right down the road from me, and when we were younger, we used to ride our bikes around the neighborhood and like just mess around. And we found like these like wild like watermelons or like some type of melon like growing in our neighbor's yard. And so like in their front yard, and it was obviously like unwanted. And so we were messing with them.
What if that was
And-
their?
Well, no,
what if
it
they
was
planned that. That's just my watermelon patch.
all right, just like
And
right
I've-
on the corner
I've
of the
nurtured
street.
it
with
from them.
nothing.
Yeah, this is what they're in the concrete jungle. They got to do something.
Right?
Okay, good.
But so we were doing it and messing around, and they were throwing them and stuff like that. And my cousin, he got one, and he threw it, and he didn't see this truck going down the road, and it just nailed the side of the bed, like, and it was like a big dent just in the side. And that lady got out. It was a lady, and she got out and was like tearing into him. It was so funny, and we were like. We were just standing around like, did he really just hit that truck? And it was like, she was just getting chewed out for like 15 minutes for hitting this lady's truck.
So
But
I'm ready to come forward with some information.
Okay.
Statute of limitations, I think, is over. This was when I was in high school. I was not involved with this
Senior
incident.
prank?
I repeat, I was not involved with this incident, but it made the news.
Did you harbor the fugitives?
And it was like on the news, like there was like rewards. Oh my god! Like published in the paper, like we must find these vandals.
oh my goodness.
So you mean I can get some dough from
I'm
this?
ready to name names.
Name names.
No, I'm not gonna
no
name
last
any
names.
But I'm not gonna name any names because I don't know if
Billy,
somebody's
Bob,
still,
and Joe.
Do we still might be holding on to it?
Do we know who this is?
I remember.
Back in,
I don't know. Well, it's all people I graduated with because it's all people from my youth group. But no one knew. The whole town was freaking out. It was in Ireland,
Okay.
and it was right after. Of course, it was. It was right after Halloween when all the pumpkins are like rotting on people's porches. Like they got 3 trucks. I was not there. I'm saying they, not we. Mm-hmm. They got 3 trucks, went around, picked up all the pumpkins they could find all over town, and just threw them at things in the road, like in the main street, like Ireland Avenue is like the main street that was like covered with pumpkins, like just all like crushed. They went out to Dornbos Park. This is the big one that they got in trouble for. They like threw them all over the gazebo. They like
Was it like in the pool?
yeah.
Oh no.
So like the Dornbos, I think the Dornbos family is the one that like put out a reward.
Oh
to,
my
like,
gosh.
thousands of dollars. Like tell us who did this.
I'd have been like, sorry
It was
guys.
like a big thing. Like the people who did it that I knew, we were like freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, we thought it was just gonna be like pumpkins everywhere. I didn't think it was that big.
Just pumpkins everywhere.
Like, they could have gone to jail. Like,
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
because it was like this big citywide thing. Like all the old people were talking about it. It's like
Them kids.
like people at church were like, if you know, you better tell us.
And, and you said they were your friends in youth group?
Oh yeah.
So they're like, yeah, I wonder who it is.
I was at church. I don't know.
I was at Billy's house.
We should pray for them.
Oh, man.
All right. One more question, and then we're going to hear your side of the story of getting engaged.
We haven't even told people who's here.
Does it matter?
Wait,
No.
have
Yeah.
you?
Well,
we haven't even given an intro.
Well, we
That's
do
like-
the
There's no intro.
differently.
There
No,
isn't?
there is an intro. We do the intro.
Yeah,
I
there
was told
is
there
an
was no
intro.
intro.
There's no intro because we'll record sort of an intro at the end, and that will be what.
Well, that
people-
sounds
that's
very
right.
backwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't talk about
Right.
too much because that's not how people will be hearing it. They will have already heard an intro.
Yeah.
Listening to what we're saying right now. So,
Awkward moment.
yeah. So
We're
we got.
so professional.
All right. So, what's the funniest thing you've done or had happen while your mind was wandering? So, I'll start.
Okay.
The most awkward thing for me was I was in middle school and I had to ride the bus to school, and where I lived, I was usually the first. Me and my family were usually the first ones picked up on the route. So I was always spent the longest time sitting on the bus. And so I was sitting on the bus, and my mind was just wandering, completely wandering. And we got to the school, and everybody got off the bus, and I just sat there looking out the window. I don't know what I was thinking about. I don't know what I was doing, but the bus driver finally got up and walked over to me and goes, Elliot, are you okay? We're at school. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah, sorry. And I had to get up and just slowly walk off the bus. And I was like, okay.
I just wanted to see what would happen if you just stayed on the bus.
Yeah, maybe I would have gotten taken home, but
no, you wouldn't taken to like the bus barn and
she kicked me off. Well, I went to church. I went to church with the bus driver, so she knew me and knew where I lived. So it was just kind of weird.
What happens to the school bus during the day?
I don't know.
Disappears.
I mean, does the bus driver?
There's sending hubs that they go to that they drop the bus off and then come get it.
Yeah. Well, that's the weirdest thing that's happened to me.
Actually, when I was a kid, sometimes the bus driver just was in charge of the bus, and they would have.
They just
school
kept it
bus
for the
would
day.
just be like at somebody's house. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You have a big driveway to keep a school bus at home.
They'd be like, I ain't keeping that house.
It's like a corporate car, and they use it to get around.
It's one way to get
A bus
groceries.
going through like a Wendy's drive-through or something.
Yeah.
Just like going up on the curb. Well, hold on.
I need the party pack. I need 4 extra cheese
That's
cups,
funny.
3 extra large Pepsi.
Do you know that big old
you guys want
ginormous Dodge truck that drives around that's got the big silver gas cans? It looks like it's a monster
really
truck.
jacked up one?
Well, it almost looks like an oversized 18-wheeler, but it's not an 18-wheeler.
Oh,
You know
are
what I'm talking
are you talking
about?
about the trucks that have like basically 18-wheeler engines and tires on it, but it's like on a weird
It's like
cab?
a regular cab type truck. Anyway, it was really funny. So I was in the Chick-fil-A drive-through,
Yeah.
and this truck came through, and like we were all sitting there, like there was like 3 other cars around this one truck. And we're all looking at it going, wondering, like, who's going to be the lucky one to have to climb up the side of that truck to hand this guy his food? Because it wasn't like you could just hear. And so, like, finally, and it obviously, it's the smallest girl in the Chick-fil-A crew there that happens to get his food to have to walk up. And he, like, leans halfway outside of his truck to have to lean down and get his bag of food and stuff. It was really funny to watch.
At that point, that's just
My
not
pleasure.
practical whatsoever. like I'm not gonna hate on people for lifting their trucks, but like whenever it's so high up that it just like completely inconveniences
Well, I don't think
you.
this wasn't like jacked up. It was like the size of this truck to do what it needs to do.
Oh, so you're saying like the truck itself was like built that big?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just a big, ginormous truck. So
It was
Oh,
an
okay.
18-wheeler with no.
But was it
I don't know.
like kind of like a
there's
big
only
cab?
one of them that drives around here. If you haven't seen it yet,
Does it look
I've seen the
very
guy
weird?
who's got like a 10-foot lift on it.
I've seen that one too.
Like the big show
He's got like
trucks
a
and
rope
stuff?
ladder that he throws.
Every time me and Dalton drive by Lumberton Off-Road and see the school bus jacked up, we're like, I want to drive that. We should get that for a youth event or something.
The center of gravity on that thing is going to be insane.
Oh, it's
Like,
gotta
you
be
gotta
awful.
You got to take like 10
You don't-
mile an hour turn.
Yeah, you
Flip
turned
that thing over easy. But anyways, anyone else?
What was the? I don't even remember the question. We started talking about trucks.
The funniest thing that you've done or had happen while your mind was wandering.
Oh, while you zoned out.
Yeah. Like, you're just walking down a sidewalk, not paying attention, and you run into a pole. I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, I have done that. I've seen someone else do that. We were.
It's funnier when someone else does
Yes.
it.
Okay. We were just driving along. It's near like the recycling area downtown, and well, not downtown. In like the rundown part of town.
Gotcha.
That place.
Yeah.
You know. We saw some guy just walking, and then he just like looking at a car, and just like in one of those big telephone poles, just like plows him down. He like falls over, and he like looks everywhere. He's like, and then like just kind of like gets up and just starts walking. It was funny. It was really funny.
Well, I have a story. So it doesn't involve me zoning out. It involves someone else zoning out. And it
Is it Mallory?
No, it's not
Okay.
Mallory.
I don't think she would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna say anything.
Well, now that you mention
We're all
it,
gonna think it's Mallory. Continue.
Okay. So this was my junior year of high school,
Okay.
and there was a brass band that I was in called Kickin' Brass, and we played for. and we were we played for pep rallies and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and
Was this a school band or y'all
so it was like student led.
student led?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a school.
It wasn't like a school band.
It
It was
wasn't
a
like the
student
jazz band
organization.
for
No,
your
no,
high
no.
school.
It was like
Okay.
just a student band,
Okay.
like an organization. And so we were playing at the middle school, playing for the kiddos, and in between, because they were playing kickball and stuff. And here's where it goes bad. So
Okay.
I always have the worst luck whenever it comes to like everyone else is doing something and doing perfectly fine, and then whenever I do it, it goes wrong. Okay. And this is one of those cases. I have multiple other stories like that.
And this time is no different.
This time's a lot worse because someone got hurt. So,
Oh my god.
What did you
tell
do?
us this?
Okay.
Have you spoken to legal counsel first?
You're not admitting to it. You're not admitting to a crime, are you?
well, I saw someone else do it. Let's just no. But so basically,
Hypothetically.
He's a witness.
yeah, I'm a survivor. So basically, we were playing kickball, and
Okay.
it was like literally only 2 people had gone before me, and so I went up to kick that ball, and so I look over to my left, and I see one of my old teachers standing there, and I felt super bad. But anyway, I was like, okay, I cannot kick the ball that direction. Like, please, Nathan, whatever you do not kick it to the left. Lo and behold, I get that ball, line drive right to the left, pegs the teacher right in the back of the head. She had no idea. Like, she was just walking and just boom, she dropped all her stuff. I was like, oh my God.
So you did do this. This
Yes,
is
I
your
did
doing.
do it. Yeah. But she was like, just minding her own business,
The
zoned
thing
out,
that
just
you saw
walking.
someone else do was
Yep.
like get hurt by the kickball that you got.
Did you see that happen? Who did that?
And so like I was so like embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like I literally just like ran out. Like I couldn't deal with it.
So
Like,
did she fall down? You don't know the aftermath of.
so
Hit and
I
run.
went
Or kick and
I
run.
went
Yeah, were you
afterwards
checking the
and
news later?
I went afterwards and apologized. But like right at first, I literally just ran out of the gym. Like I couldn't deal with that. I was like, I literally just hit like a 60-year-old teacher in the face.
5 years from retirement, taken out.
She made it so close.
I felt so bad. Because like I had her as a teacher in middle school as well. So it was just really bad. So, but yeah.
What does that have to do with you zoning out?
The teacher
Well,
zoned
the
out.
teacher was zoned out, and then I nailed her in the head.
Attention,
Yeah.
walking across the kickball field.
And so, yeah, that's I don't. The only time I really remember like zoning out is just like when you're driving, and then like 15 minutes later, like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done.
You don't realize you just like in your driveway. You're like, I don't remember driving home.
It's like
I've done that driving to Bay. I used to when I drove back and forth between here and Baytown all the time going home. I would leave my dorm, and by the time I got on 69, I would wake up and be on the other side of Winnie and go, I don't remember driving any of that. It's like, I don't know how I got here. Jesus, take the wheel, I guess. Anyone else? Any other?
I don't have any. I don't zone out. I'm too.
You don't
mentally-
zone
No,
out?
I'm just kidding.
No.
I don't know.
He's too zoned
So
out to remember.
I do this thing where I'm thinking of something else. It's not really zoned out, thinking of nothing, but like.
Well, yeah, like
someone will be-
in other words, like you're concentrating so hard, even if it's on nothing, but even if it's on something,
Yeah.
where you forget about things that are happening around you.
So somebody will be talking to me for like a long time, and I'll be
Stephanie.
like, and I'll just go.
Hey now.
I'll just be thinking of like the things that I want to think about instead of what they're saying to me, and then I'll have to do some catch up. I'll be like, and they'll ask me a question. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's interesting.
Wait a minute.
Oh, did I say that?
Don't let all your secrets out.
I mean, never when you're talking.
Uh-huh.
Never,
Oh, how
no,
nice.
no one in this room.
no one
Of
here.
course.
And no one listening to this.
Right, no one at all. In fact, nobody that actually knows me that I've actually
Just
done
my
this.
imaginary friend.
So I usually get by doing that pretty okay. No one's ever like said, "Were you listening?" Right
Yeah, and like what you have to do is like have like a follow up question,
Yeah.
sort of like to like the most recent thing. You're like, oh, I haven't been paying
What
attention.
was
You
that
say,
like for you?
Oh, it's like, oh, well, so you're doing this and that,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, and
You
then they
just
go on. It's like,
restate.
like I feel really bad because like I can't help that I zone out sometimes. Like, but normally I'm pretty attentive.
Yeah.
You know, it's only like whenever I have other things on my mind.
So one time I did get caught doing that. And it wasn't necessarily because I was zoning out. It's because I'm a heavy sleeper. We were the staff, like our senior year, our senior trip, we were the staff for a student life camp. And so we had to go to the staff meetings in the morning. No one woke me up. There was guys in my room. They just left. I mean, I understand I'm supposed to be responsible for waking up, but like they just left me there. They knew I was going to miss the meeting. And I woke up and it was like 5 minutes before the meeting. I ran there and they're like, okay, we're in James. And I was like getting my Bible ready. And I was like, and I just got it out and opened it up. And I didn't want to be like turning pages anymore when they were still in it. So I just opened it up like it was not in James. I'm like, Kevin, you want to read for us? Sure. And then I started flipping. That wasn't really zoned out. That was just like,
no.
I'll always remember.
Speaking of heavy sleepers, though, Elio. So one of the first times I really got to know Elio was at youth camp when he was a junior or senior, and this is I think the last time that we went to Palacios. And this is like the morning we're supposed to be getting on the bus to go home, and he refuses to get out of bed. And so I had gone as one of the counselors in the dorm for that guy's dorm. I had gone by his bed multiple times. Hey, Elio, it's time to get up. You need to get up, pack your stuff. We need to get on the bus. No. And he just kind of roll over. So I'd come back later. Elio, it's time to get up. Everyone else is almost all already out. So I'd take his covers off. 'Cause he's on a bunk bed in the middle of the room. So it's not like he's against a wall or anything. It's literally in the very center of the room. He still won't get up. He just lays there with his
You have to
pillow.
lure him out with cookies.
So I take his pillow,
Oh,
and I was like, Elio, it is time to get up. He will not get up. And so I literally take the bed and start rocking it back and forth on the legs. And he's just rolling back and forth. And he's like, okay, fine. He was not happy. He was very unhappy with me because he did not want to get out of bed.
There was kids that I had to I would physically dump them out of the bed, like pick up the mattress and just throw them on the floor.
All right, so Stephanie, we understand that you are engaged now to a one Sam.
A Samuel.
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 So
A Samuel.
apparently last week we heard Sam's story about the engagement,
Yes.
but sounds like there's details
She
missing.
wanted to tell her side of the
Yeah,
story.
she wanted to tell
Okay,
her
okay,
side of the story.
okay.
We feel like there was something that was mistold or misrepresented in what was said last week.
plot
No, not
thickens.
really.
The plot thickens. So tell us what actually transpired.
Okay.
During
Well,
this trip.
here's the thing. The
And
way
are you engaged?
Are
Well,
you
yeah.
actually engaged?
Okay, just to clarify, right?
So we agree on the main details.
There is a
Wow.
ring on the finger. She did say yes. So far.
Oh,
so far.
So
It's
far.
conditional.
okay. I gotta
Quid pro
go.
No.
Is there any paperwork involved?
Well,
actually, there is some paperwork.
yeah, there is.
Already? So soon?
Yes.
Eventually.
Sorry, continue.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so as he stated, we went to the Spartan race for him. So he was doing his Spartan race thing. Yes.
So it's all about him.
Yes. Wow. So I met his brother for the first time there.
Older
that went
brother
well.
or younger
yes.
brother?
Okay, he calls him his older little brother. His little brother, because he's smaller than him, but he's his
But he's
oldest
older.
brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Makes sense.
he's kind of small. Not really, but yeah. So
Comparatively.
yeah, compared to Sam, yeah. So we went there, and so we're heading home on Sunday. So the night before, we were like talking, and I'm sassy, and so I was like, oh yeah, if we get married. And he's like, well, like the ring came in, but like the diamond, they still have to set it, so like the ring's not coming in for like another week or two. I'm a little deflated flower because I was like, perhaps on the off chance maybe he'll propose this weekend. You know, I was hopeful. Deflated flower. And he knew it. He was trying to.
That was probably the plan, right?
It was.
Let's just pop those balloons.
Yeah, and he later was like, yeah, I saw how sad you got, and I felt kind of bad. I had to throw you off the scent.
But
And I was
not
like,
bad enough to stop.
I know, right?
Train's
I know,
already
right?
moving. Ain't no turning it around.
So, on Sunday, he's like, hey, you want to go to a coffee shop? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, and then maybe we can, like, on the way home, we can stop for dinner in Houston. So, like, I don't know, wear, like, a sweater, jeans, whatever. I was like, okay. So, we stopped.
Dress nice, Stephanie.
Yeah, dress nice.
Goodness
In
gracious.
other words,
Gotta take you out in
take
public.
off those sweatpants.
Is that what you're wearing?
Yeah. Yeah,
may
I
wanna
was wearing
change.
sweatpants. So I had to change into jeans. Blech.
Ugh,
Yeah.
who wears those?
I know, right? So we find a coffee shop. It was a 5-star. It's called Quick Draw Coffee.
Quick draw coffee.
But yeah, it has like a little boxing glove because it's like strong coffee, you know?
How's that anything to do with quick draw?
Draw.
though?
I don't know.
Why
There
is
should have
there
been like a pistol on the side.
I know,
of it.
Like a
right?
revolver,
Okay,
you know?
okay. Take it up with them, not me.
I'm just saying.
But
What we're saying is your story doesn't add up.
So it's like this like metal like food truck. Super cute looking. It had like picnic tables around it. There's hardly like anyone around. So it was super cute. There was a walkway, kind of had like a garden area. It was really
So there was
cute.
nothing special about this location that he chose to do.
No, it was really good coffee. So he knows me.
Y'all chose this location together on
yeah.
the off the cuff.
Yes.
Oh,
We were like,
man.
let's
So
do
y'all
I
had
thought,
y'all
like,
had
you
never been
scoped it
here,
out.
or so this is
Wow.
like jumping on Yelp and saying, "Hey, where's a coffee shop?" kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
Fantastic.
the thing is, he didn't want to get nervous, and so he didn't plan it out at all. He was like, if there's an
that would
opportunity.
make me more nervous.
Yeah, he's like, if there's an opportunity, I'm going to do it. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
So we got coffee. It was sugar-free coffee. I got the mocha. He got the vanilla, all sugar-free,
Because
with,
of the
I believe
diet.
it was almond milk. So completely diet approved
There
for
you go.
those
There you go.
listening.
Because she had just spent a week eating cake. and-
Okay, Kevin Goodwin.
Hey, it's okay. So did he.
I'm going an extra week on the diet.
No.
It was a stressful week, and
It
it was
was a
Audrey's
stressful week.
birthday, so I had some cake. Okay, leave it.
I'm leaving it.
Leave it.
Continue your story.
We're continuing on the story. So we get our coffee. We go. We walk. It was cute. We talked a little bit, but I noticed he was kind of nervous and was a little bit off because he gets more goofy and says like randomest stuff. I don't know. He gets
Say
You
that
really.
again?
you said this before, but you didn't say any of the things that he said. Do you have any examples?
I'm trying to think. He would just do weird stuff, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?"
Is he a babbler? Did he
He'll
babble
just
at all?
say what's
Just
on his mind, kind of
random?
thing. Just very random about what he's saying, and he gets more like goofy, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" Not really. I love you. And so I was like, "Okay, he's kind of off," but as he stated, he dropped his coffee cup. It was empty, but like it was windy, so it like kind of blew over. And he like went to go pick it up, literally picked it up. It was like, no, I'll just get it later. And I was like, what's wrong with you?
I thought you were gonna say he's gonna like get out on a knee after
I was
trying
like,
to pick
that's
up
an
his coffee.
awkward.
cup.
Like, let me pick up this coffee cup.
It's like,
wait.
my shoe is
Wait,
untied.
no way. Hey, can you hold this for me?
Hey, turn around real quick.
So I was like, okay, weirdo, what's happening? And then we started talking about food because I was hungry. And so we start looking at different places, and we chose, I think it's Exceptional, like Eggs Exceptional, because it's like a brunch place. Yeah. And I got really hungry, and so I was like, okay, Sam, let's go. He's like, you want to sit for a little bit longer? And I was like, okay. So we sat, and we talked some more, and I was like, this isn't going anywhere. Let's go eat. I was so
If you're gonna
hungry.
do something, do it because I gotta go. Let's go.
I'm getting
Okay.
angry.
Okay, it was like 12 something, and I was like, I'm hungry. Haven't eaten today.
In the afternoon?
Yes.
Okay.
It's your job to feed me.
I know, right?
Get used to it.
Yeah. So, the second time around, I'm like, okay, well, let's go. And he's like, okay. And apparently I was walking away too fast. And he's like, oh, Stephanie. And he never says my name. Like, no one ever says Stephanie.
What
I
does
don't
he
know
call
why.
you?
He's just like, hey.
He never says, oh, I thought you
I was like, does he have like a pet name? Did you just say Steph or
Yeah, like,
or
he
never,
just
Hey,
never
you?
actually just says your name.
No.
person?
we're just always together.
Someone
and
of
so
the
he's
opposite
like,
gender. Walk over here.
He's like, hey.
being.
And I'm like, oh, it's me. Okay, hello. Like, people just don't say my name. And so I was like, why did he just say Stephanie? That's weird. And so I'm like, yes, hello. And he was like picking up his coffee cup because apparently he planned that out. He was like, oh, picking up coffee cup. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, and I'm like, what are you babbling about? I'm hungry. And so then I see a sparkle, and I'm like, ooh,
Shiny stuff.
shiny, sparkly. And I was like, oh, and I start freaking out. And
Was
he's
the
like,
box open? Was it out of the
no,
box? Was
so he
holding
didn't
it?
bring the box because he
Okay.
said that would be too obvious. So he just had the ring, just chilling.
That's daring.
I
It
know.
is very daring.
I know.
Takes
and
a man's
so-
man.
I've seen some
least you didn't do
things
it-
happen with rings.
Well, yeah, at least you didn't do it in like a creek or a waterfall or
I know,
something.
right? Oh,
Ooh,
goodness.
yeah, that would have been.
My brother-in-law
There are-
opened the
I've
box
seen
upside
those
down over a
videos.
Go
bridge.
diving in those.
Oh. And did it fall?
No, it didn't. But she looked horrified, and so he got a little scared
Yeah.
because he's like, "Oh, you don't
That's-
want to marry me?" She's like, "No, the ring."
That's like when they give the blizzard to you and they have to turn it over.
yeah.
I think it's
Every time
fun.
I do it, I'm like, oh!
I think it's funny when they do that and it has a lid on it. It's like
Yeah.
there's a lid on the cup.
Of course, it's
It
not
still
gonna
falls
be
out.
You're performing with a net, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, continue.
Okay, anywho. So, he starts babbling. He's like, oh, and I'm like, spit it out. And
Is this how he presented it? I didn't listen to his.
I haven't heard it either.
apparently
Yeah.
he had something planned, and I'm glad he didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
okay.
So what did he have?
What did he have?
Yeah, what was he
And
planning
would it
to
have
say?
affected your answer?
It's like, no.
real question.
We're gonna do this whole thing over again. You're gonna say something different here.
No, start
Okay,
over.
this is an example.
Cut. Take two.
This is an example of his weird goofiness when he's nervous. This is what he was thinking in his mind. Because we were talking about food, and I was like, oh, I wish we could have Eggs Benedict because it has like the English muffin, so it's not
Yeah.
on the diet. So I couldn't have it. I was like, oh, I wish I could have Eggs Benedict. And his plan was to say, I can't give you Eggs Benedict, but I can give you this. I know.
Yeah.
That's what goes through his mind when he's nervous.
That's when you cry mulligan.
Again, try again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Eggs Benedict today and the rest of forever.
Oh no! It sounds like a promposal.
Speaking
what-
of,
so what-
we're going to talk about that in a second, but yes, continue.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Promposal
what
is what he just said.
That's,
Yes,
that's what
we'll-
goes
we'll
through
come
his
back around to
mind.
that.
That's
So-
an example of goofy stuff he says.
That
And
would have
so
been.
it-
I was gearing myself up to defend Sam. Like, oh, that's not that bad.
No.
Yeah. No.
And so, but he was so nervous he couldn't get it out. So it was just like, and he's like,
Eggs
Mary?
Benedict.
Yeah, he just says eggs. Hold out the ring. He just says eggs. I mean, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like eggs tonight.
What am I saying yes to again?
Eggs?
What did I just
But
agree
yeah,
to?
he just like mumbles. He's like, marry me, and I was like, yeah. And then we're hugging. He's like, wait, was that a yes? And I was like, duh.
No.
Wait, did you say yeah?
I was like, mm-hmm.
Wait, which one was it?
You said three different things here.
Hey, were you mumbling?
He said, yeah.
Fellow mumbler.
You're both
Yes,
mumbling.
yes, we were just
You're
a
just
mumbling
mumbling
mess.
and babbling
It's like
together.
marriage. You're like, yeah.
Eggs, marry me.
Eggs. Yes, I like eggs. I'm hungry. Let's go.
Eggs forever.
somehow we understand each
Man,
other.
we should have got
Go
a film
figure.
of this.
Yes.
But I think it's better that we don't because now we just have the.
We have the stories to remember and to be told.
I'll let my
How
kids
sweet.
listen
From
to
full
this podcast
recollections.
and be like, we were
Yep.
weird.
That's what happened.
They'd be
That's
like,
hilarious.
Mom.
So, funny thing about a ring story, and then we'll get back to the promposals.
Okay.
So, I was in one of my friends' weddings in college, and the bride was like hardcore, like, y'all had better not do anything stupid during my wedding. And the first thing that happened was they ordered us all shirts to wear for the groomsmen. And we had asked her, she's like, hey, can we just roll up our sleeves and not have to wear them all the way? Because we didn't have, like, cufflinks or didn't have a jacket or anything. It was hot. It was the middle of the summer. Like, hey, can we just roll our sleeves up and have it be a little more
Speak as men do.
casual? Exactly. And she's like, no. And we were like, okay, fine, whatever. It's your wedding, whatever. But they ordered the shirts without us ever getting to try them on.
Oh no! Oh
The
no.
shirt that they ordered me, the sleeves were too short. They literally only came down to half my forearm. So we ended up getting to roll up our sleeves. And
No,
so
you need to cut your arm.
my arms are short.
Little nose. T-Rex.
So that was the first thing. And then during the ceremony, so she had one of those, the engagement rings and the wedding band fit inside of each other.
Yeah.
And so the best man went to hand the whole thing to the groomsmen. And when he stopped to hand the ring, the center ring flew out back behind the pastor, and they all started scrambling around trying to
outside?
find it. Luckily it was inside. But it's like on this stage with like it drops down underneath, and like they're like on their knees trying to find it. Where did it go? And freaking out, and she's
Oh,
just
goodness.
kind of shaking her head, and she ends up laughing about it. But it was kind of funny.
my
So when y'all
She had
talked
to.
about
It was in front of everybody.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she's gonna say, "What are you doing?"
Get out of the way.
Leave right now. It was pretty funny.
my
But that's a funny thing. Anyway, so promposals. I feel like you had a question or
I
wanted
don't have
to
a question. I
talk
have
about
a
something.
statement.
Okay.
Why? What is a question? Why?
I don't understand.
Promposals-
I've seen promposals that are
Homecoming.
like close to, and like the dresses and everything they wore was like close to
we are
an
setting
engagement.
Our children.
know.
I was like,
Well, that's
oh
what it
my
is.
gosh.
They have to. It's like they have to do this whole big. What are engagements supposed to look like now? If
I mean,
in
are you
high
supposed to
school,
like
you're-
go to Cancun or something?
Yeah, I know, right?
You're setting yourself up successively. You have to do something bigger the next time. You know how I ask people to prom? Hey, you want to go to prom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Also, homecoming. Why?
Yeah.
The homecoming is a dance at your school. It's not that big.
And
of
the
a
thing
deal.
is too, it's like, especially if like say you're with the same person throughout high school and then you go on to like get married.
Yeah.
Like if you do something crazy for a promposal, like what you said,
gotta
like
do to get
where
that girl to
like
marry
you set yourself up too much. Like there you put yourself to the
I'm gonna
limit.
jump off the Empire State Building and parachute down to where you're
And
sitting.
land with a superhero pose holding the ring.
Yeah, and that's just for prom.
And then like like what you said, like with the dresses and like the
Yeah.
attire.
It's so
and
It's
expensive.
nuts.
I saw this video where like like an 11th grader was like turned around not looking at his girlfriend without like with
The big reveal.
Yeah, the big reveal of the dress, and he turning around and start crying. I'm like, what? Excuse me?
When I was in high school 100 years ago, it was not that big of a deal. And still, I remember people being like, I'm not going to prom. And be like, what's wrong with you? It's like the biggest thing we do. It's great. Now, I will applaud. If I hear somebody is like, I'm not going to prom, I will applaud you. Yes,
I
thank you.
did not go to prom.
so,
I refused.
so
It was a waste of money. It
Yeah,
was.
see? Back then, people would say that to me. I was like, no, I mean, I'm going to go with this girl, and it's going to be great. But now, when if I hear a student saying, I'm not going to prom, I'm like, yes, you are fighting the right battle.
Yeah. It was because most people would go to the dance for all of an hour, and then it was all about the after parties, and the
Yeah.
after parties are things that I wanted nothing to do with. I mean,
There were things that I shouldn't have been in. Yes. But
Yep.
at the same time, I understand like
Yes.
the big. Let's do something. Let's do like the runway thing and have like a big like cap to the junior senior year. I understand that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong
Right.
with prom
Correct.
itself.
Correct.
But like making it like the event of their lives.
century and
oh yeah,
Um,
it's also kind of cringy.
yeah, it can be cringy.
Prom
I mean-
pose.
I mean,
Yeah.
like really, for me, it was
your
just
brother
the thing-
just went to prom.
Yeah, I saw
Oh
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
What? How was?
We showed up to the White House, like all these girls in their sparkly gowns, the guys in their little get up. And then meanwhile, Maddie and I are over here, eating the meat in our like sweatpants, and we're just like, eh. we were real chill, you know.
Well,
And
y'all
I
are
was like,
both
it's
engaged
fine.
now, so
Yeah, so it was fine. You know, I was like Sam, you know, sweatpants.
I'm not against
Done.
prom.
I wore jeans for the proposal. That's it.
Have a great time at prom.
Kevin wants to make sure that you understand he's not against prom.
I am against promposals.
Yeah, and the thing is, like,
and homecoming proposals.
my junior and
We-
senior year, I only went with my friends. You know, it was
Yeah.
like one of those things where like, oh, you know, we can go and grab something to eat, and then you know just go hang out for a little bit. And just
The
go
best
chill.
dance that I had is whenever I went with like Maddie and Kayla. Like,
Yeah,
it was
there
just
you
us
go.
girls, you know. It's a lot funner without guys.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
I would not disagree with you if I
Because all they do is just stand there. They just stand
That-
there, and
that's
you're like,
It's a fair
Bye.
point. I can't. I mean, I just stood there and talked to people, so I mean, I can't say anything either.
see?
But
Anyways, how long does this go? How long are we supposed to talk?
Oh, I mean, we just talk for however long you want. I mean, we probably got a few more minutes. You can ask a couple more questions.
Couple more questions. All right,
We've been going for about an hour.
here's another question. What's the grossest bug story that you have?
This is bug story.
Bug story.
Okay, I won't go first. But
Okay, I have two funny bug stories. Well, one's not really funny. It's just the grossest things that ever happened to me is I was in our backyard. We were just finished doing a bunch of yard work and everything, and I was yawning real big, and one of those big mosquito hot things just flies right into the back of my throat, and it's like, and I was like, nothing I could do but swallow it. It was so gross. It was nasty.
you feel like a little flutter.
Yeah,
a little
it was
butter.
just-
Talk about
it was
butterflies
trying
in
to
your
fly.
stomach.
Yeah, no.
Mosquito
It was so gross.
The Texas version.
Yeah, mosquito hawks in the stomach.
Yeah.
I have the mosquito hawks.
And then we had I had a economics teacher in high school that was just deathly afraid of cockroaches. I mean, hated them. And we had this rubber one that made its way to so many jokes and messing with people, and we put it under some papers on her desk.
Oh no.
And we have never heard someone scream bloody murder so loud and beat that desk and it just wouldn't go anywhere, and she was getting so mad. It was kind of crazy, but those are some intro stories to some bugs.
One story that I have was in middle school. I had one of my friends over to my house to stay the night, and we were eating pizza at the dinner table, just nonchalantly, and then I look up at the ceiling. There's a cockroach like right above the table. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, look at that!" And my mom was like, because she hates cockroaches too, and so she was like freaking out. She was so embarrassed. A friend was over too, and she's like, "Well, I can't have him thinking that like our house is infested with cockroaches," and that was funny. It wasn't necessarily gross, but one gross time was that a long time ago, my grandparents used to have problems because they live on some land in some like more like a swampier area, and so they had problems with wood roaches and cockroaches.
Oh, those are the worst.
And so, but little did they know they had a nest in their house, in a closet like they don't ever mess with.
oh my gosh,
That's a bad day.
And so, like I remember as a kid, there
I've
were
never
always
even
be
seen a nest.
I'm just
Oh,
imagining
no,
the
like-
Ratatouille where the roof like caves in. And there's all those
well,
rats.
basically
but
you open
cockroaches.
this door in this bathroom and cockroaches would just pour out. Like you just see just everywhere.
Burn the house.
Oh, it was.
Yep.
They got them
Nope.
exterminated. I haven't seen a cockroach in their house in a very long
no
time.
gasoline and
But
a match.
they had to get some like serious like exterminators in there. It was
I'd need
it was so
therapy.
gross. Well, I mean, okay, but
It's like-
I mean, it's gross.
We're not certified for that.
I'm not the
Topics,
best, but
You're opening up too much.
it was definitely pretty gross. It was quite disgusting.
I've been bitten by a brown recluse.
You have?
You
Twice
swell up
in
like
my
My
life.
dad
Those are
showed
awful.
us like pictures of like never go near it.
There's still
Here's pictures, and it scarred me as
You
a
have a
little
scar?
kid.
There's still a black spot.
Ooh.
there's a black spot still from the last
It's
time.
the black spot.
Yes, the black spot. It was at VBS this past 2 years ago because we didn't do VBS last year.
Yeah.
Really?
Before last. The first time was when I was like 2 years old and it put me in the hospital. Second time was at VBS 2 years ago, like out when we'd had it like on Calvary's campus. So I got bitten by Calvary at some point, but like I felt like I had the flu, like my whole body was aching. So I just went home that day. And I was like, I drank a bunch of fluids and like slept the rest of the day. And I woke up the next day and I felt worse. Like I felt like my heart was like beating really fast.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
I should have gone to the hospital. And I didn't. And I just went back. Like I felt like I didn't have fever or anything. And so I just went back. My leg was still, I knew I got bit by something, but I thought that was separate. I thought like I got super dehydrated. So I just drank a bunch of Gatorade and stuff and went back. And Dylan Rogers was like, hey, your leg is still like, this leg is like twice the size of your other leg.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are not fun.
Those weren't
I've been bit by spiders a couple of times. I've gotten bit on my knee, and it just swelled up real big and got red and hard, and so I poked it with a needle and drained it, and it was fine.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I've gotten bit by like that before, but this was like I felt like I was
I don't think
dying.
I've ever gotten bit by anything like that.
So I don't know what is there like a stat? Is there a cumulative effect? Because you know those guys, the beekeepers, like
They get used to the venom kind of
Well, no,
thing?
it comes to a point where they can't get stung by bees anymore. They have to
Really?
stop being beekeepers. Yeah, because it will kill
Wait,
them.
really?
Because their
They could
body
get
can't
stung
handle
by,
it
like
anymore.
one more bee and they die. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and how does that happen though? Is there like just like a lot of venom in their system
Yeah, I don't know.
already?
I think it's like some
Like it doesn't actually.
There's some effect it still continues to have on your body. It's not like you're building up an immunity to it. It's like, no, you can't get stung.
Are you
There's,
telling me
like,
the Princess Bride lied to me?
everybody gets a certain amount of stings, and you filled your card up, pal. So if you do it again,
I feel like two
is
by
there
Brown
like a
Recluse.
strike
is-
300,
is there
you're
a
out.
Brown
reaching your
Recluse version
limits.
of that? Because this could be.
Well,
You're reaching your limit. buddy.
I'm not sure. That'd be interesting to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
out. Just because like I know like certain like snake keeper. I saw that.
I honestly don't even know. I'm not even sure I know what they look like. I've looked them up before,
I mean, I
and I
guess
know they
they're-
look like a little
they're brown.
It's a brown spider. Yeah, it's a brown spider.
But
They're
so anytime
reclusive.
anytime I see a brown spider, I'm like, no.
brown recluse.
I
Well,
I killed a brown spider last night. It was huge. It was so juicy too.
Yeah.
These aren't huge.
Are they
The thing is,
smaller?
I've never like seen them like on
Yeah.
me. Like it's always like after.
So funny story. Well, it's funny for me, not necessarily for Justin. So in Sudan, spiders are all over the place. I mean, you can't. So one of the things, like in Tanzania, I'm sure you know, when you shine
Yeah.
the light out to go to the bathroom and you look
like
and you see
spider
all these
webs.
sparkly lights, he's like, "Oh, that looks pretty." Like, no, those are all spiders. those are all little lies looking back at you.
Oh.
And I'm like, and the reason I know that is because I actually went and found like, what are these sparkly things? And I looked in the ground and found a little spider sitting in a little hole. And I was like, oh, that's terrifying. I'm going back in my tent. But in Sudan, at this point, I had been to Sudan probably 4 or 5 times. And this is probably the second time or so that Justin had gone, if not the first. But every night, Justin would spend probably 20 minutes killing spiders on the top of the Tukul. Just trying to clear them out and get them out and everything. And I'm like, Justin, just leave them alone. I've been here, can't tell you how many times, never had a single problem with them. Just leave them alone. He's like, no, I can't handle this. And so he would kill every one of them that he's seen. That year he got bit by a spider. And I mean, nothing happened to him. I mean, he got bit
he's still around.
and whatnot. But I thought it was funny. I was like, if you had just, in my mind, I'm like, if you had just left them alone, then nothing would have happened.
They were out
to
for
you. You would have been
revenge.
fine.
Let
But
spider be spider and you be
exactly. Now I will say, I don't know if a scorpion counts as a bug. Is a scorpion a bug? Would you call it a bug?
Scorpion isn't a scorpion technically an arachnid?
I think it is an arachnid. But
So a
Yeah.
spider would
so
be.
we're
Yeah.
we're in
Is
the
a
same-
scorpion an arachnid? Wait. Are they
need to
part of the
look
same
this up.
family? Arachnid is different from scorpion though. Maybe they're part of the same genus or whatever. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
We know he's talking to you, Siri.
So,
But out of our conversation.
craziest thing that's happened to me with something of that nature, right? Was the last time I was in Sudan, I was working on a project for
Nathan has the
Shannon.
answer to
Okay.
the scorpion
According
question.
to Wikipedia, it is an arachnid.
There you go. So we're in the same vein here. Continuing talking about arachnids. So I was in a Tukul by myself working on a audio project for Shannon in
Tukul is like a small hut.
so like a small circular room 12 foot
Yeah.
in diameter. And so I'm sitting on this bed, Indian style, and I'm working on my laptop, listening to these Bible stories that we're recording for the Toposa people. And all of a sudden, and I don't know, I never saw it come in. I never saw it in the room. I always checked the room because I was in there by myself and walking barefoot and everything. I would at least check the floor because I was in a new area. that had really just been cleaned out. And so, I was just being mindful of snakes and other things that were in the area. And so I checked the room. I didn't see this scorpion at all. But all of a sudden, I'm working on this laptop, and I look over, and there's this scorpion. It's probably about 4 inches long, with its pinchers just. I mean, it looked angry, and just started charging at me. But I'm sitting on the bed, so I don't know what it's doing. But it just comes running towards me, with its stinger up and its pinchers open, and I was like, "This is terrifying." And I had my Hydro Flask metal water bottle in the bed with me, and I said, "No, sir." And as soon as it got to me, I go, "Boom!" And it just goes and splattered it all over the ground. But it was terrifying. And I was like, and then right after that, a bat started ramming itself into the window. I was like, "Okay, I'm done. I'm going to bed."
That's when COVID started.
And that's when COVID started.
The bats.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring it with me. No, but I thought that was kind of crazy. That whole night actually was kind of interesting, just in the fact that every time I really started to work on these Bible stories that we're translating into this native language for these people to be able to hear God's word and hear the stories, it literally felt like the Tukul was being attacked. I mean, just things that didn't normally, like I said, at this point, this is like the 12th or 13th time that I've been to Sudan and have never had anything like this happen before. I've never had a Tukul attack, even with a light on or anything. I've never seen that kind of just constant disruption and noise and just things hitting. It was kind of crazy. And so I was like, okay. I closed my computer, said a little prayer, and I said, I'm going to go to bed. I'll work on this tomorrow. And we got the project done, and church is still going strong. So, but it was crazy. So,
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King. I did not eat it like he did, but I did kill it.
You probably shouldn't.
Probably
Is it true? I feel like I got this from a movie, but the bigger the better in terms of scorpion
Yes,
stings.
I've heard that.
Like if it's a big scorpion, it's probably like a bee sting or something. Small scorpion, you might want to.
You're
Yeah,
probably
the
gonna
same
die.
with
Yeah.
snakes and things like that, because whenever they're babies, the venom's more
Well, it's
concentrated,
actually
and they don't know when to stop. I
That's
thought.
actually not true.
Wait, really?
That's a very popular snake
That's
myth.
what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually not true.
Because I hear that they strike more.
No.
Really?
So babies know how to control their venom too.
You
That's-
I
kill
did
them
not
either
know
way.
that.
Yeah. So that is one of the snake myths. Another one of the snake myths is the coral snake, red and yellow
killer fellow.
red and black, venom lac. That's also not true. There are
I thought it was friend of Jack.
venom lac or friend of Jack. Yeah, same thing. But you can't trust that because there are other identifiers.
I've heard
for
black and
coral
white
snakes.
friendly bite.
Oh,
Oh no! Man,
There can be different colored even coral snakes. It's a genetic mutation.
So basically,
but-
what you're saying is just avoid them no matter what.
Just avoid. Yeah.
So I've seen a coral
Best
snake.
observed from a distance.
I've seen a coral snake kill itself.
Really?
It's
How did you do
entertaining.
that?
So it was actually at Tomahawk. We had caught one. Someone had seen it down by the lake, and so they went and we went and got it. And they had just hit it with a shovel. They didn't actually kill it, so they had hit it with a shovel and put it in a box. And I was sitting there watching it, and because it was basically just dazed. I mean, it was just kind of flopping around. Well, its tail flopped around and hit itself in the face, and it bit itself, and bit its tail, and all of a sudden it just kind of stayed there and then shook a little bit, and then it just stopped moving. And I was like, I didn't know that you could do that. And it just died.
They're not immune to their own venom.
I guess not. I mean, they got to protect themselves against their brothers, right?
that's the thing. Can a dragon be killed with fire? You never know.
I mean, is it an ice dragon or is it?
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
I don't know. I mean, in movies and stuff like that, normally they're kind of immune to fire.
I say that. I think I'm right about the baby thing. I'm a member of all these Facebook groups now
Oh,
because I
Facebook
can
groups.
identify.
Oh wow,
the-
Facebook.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're true or not. But they're actual biologists that are a part of these because I wanted to be able to identify. I can identify every snake that appears in Texas now.
Wow.
Really?
Send me pictures of snakes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
How did
If
you get to this point?
I bought a bunch of books and that Facebook group was really the best. It's Snake ID, Southeast Texas Snake ID. But
Sounds like a cult.
People will. It is sort of cultish because they're like always talking about never
Snake-
kill snakes.
snake
I'm like, okay,
handlers.
well, I will kill a snake.
I killed a
There's
snake
timber
with a sword in
rattler
the
right there.
40s.
He's going
Oh my
down.
goodness.
Like,
Funny
Yeah.
story. So whenever we first moved to our house out in Cheek, South Cheek, to be specific.
Yeah,
But
because that
anywho,
means-
14 acres of land, lots of snakes, whatever. So it was like one of the first nights that we were there. And my mom like is going inside, and there's these 2 water moccasins like over the
Oh.
arch of the doorway to get inside.
what?
And she freaks out. And so my dad, you know, like he couldn't find his gun and also not going to shoot his house. Like, I don't know.
Why
so,
is there a
the
bullet hole in your
buckshot.
door?
no, so what he does is he takes an axe and literally chops them. We still had the axe marks on our door.
That's fantastic.
But it
That's
was
awesome.
pretty
This
great. You know, it
is
was like
still
blood
too
over the
water.
doorway. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a good house now.
So this
You know?
is so
Good
this
or
was
bad.
Yeah.
You know, biblically, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
so this was during the Battle
Protected.
Rattle series that we did a few years ago here, where we went through the armor of God and all that kind of stuff, and we had those suits of armor all over the place. And there was me and Jeremy were doing something in the foyer, and all of a sudden this big old snake comes crawling through the foyer,
Oh.
and I just I grabbed this sword off of one of the mannequins and went whoosh, and cut it in half and killed it right in the
Blood
foyer.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It was
that
fantastic.
was-
Killed a
No,
copperhead
not
in the
really.
choir loft at my last church.
Oh my
Yeah.
We didn't tell any of the old ladies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they
Well,
wouldn't
I've-
go up there again.
I found little baby snakes up in the door.
Oh, that's.
But anyway,
Doors here.
that was how I got the best at identifying snakes, because there's people that post pictures of snakes and like, hey, what is this? And so everybody on the thing like comments there. But then the experts, like the people who actually have jobs in wildlife management, say, no, this is what it was, and so you get to practice. You get to like.
I love like little groups like those.
That's the only reason I'm on Facebook still.
There you
I have
Because
one more
everything else
snake
is-
story.
go. One more snake story.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a family, or my family has a farm in northwest Arkansas, about like 400-acre cattle ranch,
Oh man.
and it's really pretty. But anyway, we were putting up some fence, and we drove the Ranger up the side of the hill, and we must have hit a rock that a snake was under, and then this big old snake starts coming through, like a big old long snake too, and he got in the Ranger, and we're like. What do we do? It was me and my grandpa, and we both hate snakes. And so we got these cattle prods and started like poking at him, trying to get him out, and he just wouldn't do anything. And then he did like the creepy, after like 5 minutes of that, he did the creepy levitating thing, and then levitated to the front engine bay, like the front cover underneath it. So we're like, are you serious? And so we like popped it open real quick, and he was like tucked away in there, and we started poking him more and poking him. And he finally slithered out, and then of course like my uncle and his like son-in-law are up there laughing at us, but we started smacking it, just like beating it, and like we paralyzed it, and then you know my grandpa like stuck it through its head, and then you know it's dead, and so we measured it. That sucker was 5'8".
Oh man.
It's a
What
big
color
old
was
snake.
it?
It was a I forgot, it was a black snake, but it was it's
Coach
called
whip?
a coach whip.
Ah, see, I said it before he said it.
He did. I heard
Look
him.
at you and your little
So,
Facebook page.
Aren't they like the equivalent of like a king snake, sort of, or like a rat snake or something?
Yeah, king snake will eat other snakes. I mean, rat snake eats like rodents and stuff.
Okay,
and a coach whip can't eat other snakes.
Okay,
Nice.
but yeah, it was kind of terrifying. Anyway,
All right. One more question. Well, 2 more questions.
2 more questions?
2 more questions and we'll be done.
Two more
I'll
questions.
ask them at the same time. So first, an epic feast is held in your honor. What's on the table? And then second, what seemingly innocent question makes you think it's a trap?
Okay. Let's focus on the feast one first.
yeah.
Can't get my mind around the second one.
I would say Chick-fil-A and Cane's.
Oh, Chick-fil-A is going to be part of mine.
Chick-fil-A and Cane's.
Ooh.
I would know someone's trying to entice me if they offer me both Chick-fil-A and Cane's.
Tiny tacos from
You've just discovered
Jack
these.
in the
These
Box.
are
No, I
Oh, the Jack in the
well, I
Box
mean,
tacos?
like you've just. I haven't ever. Is this a new? Are these a new thing, or they've been around?
They're
for a while?
relatively new.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
He
That's what I mean by
discovered
they're-
them on the
They're a new
off
thing.
Arlington Week.
No, I knew him way before.
Oh yeah, way before.
At least he's honest.
I've
Is
seen
that
the- I've
whenever
seen the
Jaden got
evidence.
14 of the churros?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
I got tiny tacos when she got 14 churros. Although Jack in the Box churros, she was right.
Yeah, they
They're great.
are
They're
pretty
pretty
great.
fantastic.
They
They are
have
pretty
the
great.
stuff in the middle of them. Mm-hmm.
This is brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Not sponsored, but please
You should
sponsor.
probably say something that's not fast food. Cheesecake. Cheesecake would be at my.
You did wait 2 hours for those.
Man, she's just exposing you.
I'm
Okay,
I'm
he
not
exposed me.
I'm not exposed because I admit to all of it. I
But
willingly.
if you said something about her, then you'd be exposing her because she hasn't said anything.
Hey now.
So my
yeah, what
mine-
did you get at Jack in the Box? That you
What
could have
did I
ordered
get?
a
She's
salad if you
mumbling
wanted.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Jack in the Box. If I had known about that teriyaki bowl, I would have gotten that.
Right? Or
I would have gotten
they have
that.
salads,
I
too.
did get a. I got a junior burger.
Did you know that they do salad?
No, I didn't.
Did you?
Oh, salads.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I did. Okay, but a salad
a
from
junior.
Jack in the Box.
They're not the best.
That one already looked a little
Nothing
Suspect.
Jack in the
iffy.
Box is great. It's the point. It's Jack in the Box.
This is true.
It was
if you're gonna
already
go to
a
the
little
Jack in the Box, why would you get a salad?
Like you don't know how long it's been
you know,
in there.
McDonald's salad's bad enough.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box.
so
I would have died.
My feast, mashed potatoes has to be. It has to be there.
Are you
Mashed
a
potatoes.
huge fan of mashed
Oh, I
potatoes?
love mashed potatoes. They're my favorite. If you mess up mashed potatoes, I don't know if I can be friends with you.
It's a-
Especially if
pretty
you say
hefty.
I can make really good mashed potatoes and they're actually not very good.
Ooh,
know
you're
if I can-
getting
I don't-
judged that day, boy.
I don't know if I can trust you at that point.
Judgment day is coming.
I mean, they're one of my specialties. They're what I do. I will say I do those really well. I make
Once I'm
mashed
off the
potatoes really
diet,
good.
will you make me mashed potatoes?
I don't know.
My dad
I'm
made some
already-
really good
I've already
sweet
been
potato
told,
mashed potatoes.
I've already
There
been
you
told
go.
I have to figure out how to make gluten-free cinnamon rolls. I don't
How?
know if
Just
that's-
tell them
Ew.
it's
I don't-
gluten free.
I don't know if
That's what they
that's
do with all the
possible.
gluten free
all
stuff.
the
anyway. They hand you
psychological,
something,
yeah,
it's
you
like,
just-
oh, it's.
Hey,
this is
I'll be
gluten-free.
sweet after the diet. Will you make me normal cinnamon rolls?
I don't know.
You maybe know cinnamon rolls now.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey now.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. No. So my favorite meal for me a feast is a steak with broccoli and corn, mashed potatoes, dinner rolls. Oh, so many dinner rolls with some sweet tea, some peach cobbler, and vanilla ice cream.
Sounds like Sunday afternoon lunch.
Potatoes.
Like
My
really
grandma's
good
potato
Sunday
salad.
lunch.
That's what I would want also. My grandma's potato salad.
Ooh, yeah. I mean,
But
Mom-
not steak. I'm not a big steak
I know
guy.
you're not. You're more of a
It's too-
chicken or
Ew.
Don't call me chicken. Nobody
roasted chicken.
calls me chicken.
right, you got roasted and you
Call
got
me
called
chicken.
chicken.
One more time.
No, I like
Fish.
all types of meats. Even
Except
beef.
for steak.
There's like that chopstick stuff. I like that too. But steak is just so like I don't want to have to chew forever.
If it's a good steak, you don't.
No,
That's what
people
I'm
have
saying.
said that my entire life, and then I have the good steak that they're talking about. and I'm
Okay,
like,
he doesn't
it's-
like coffee.
I'm just saying.
It's
I
still
gave
like-
this man a Java chip frappuccino, and he still tasted the coffee.
understand
There's
that.
coffee in it.
It was not.
I
It was
can
pure
understand that.
chocolate.
There is coffee.
Coffee,
in it.
probably
It's
coffee.
Java.
Java
the
is coffee.
But in that thing,
Nope.
She's talking
Listen.
about very little coffee. She's like, there's no
No,
coffee.
he
in it.
can.
No, there's
yeah,
coffee in it.
Yeah.
It's like the Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
If there's
30 mattresses and there's
It's
one
called
pea,
being
she still
spoiled
feels it.
and
She's a
picky.
princess.
No, it's not. It's just not liking one thing that everybody likes. I don't have very particular tastes. Food-wise, I can eat anything. I will even eat steak, but it's just not my favorite thing. So many people, it seems like the pinnacle of all things is steak, and that's just never going to be what it is for me. That's fine. I'll eat a steak every now and then, but I'm never going to be
So
like,
mine used to be like a chicken fried steak or a chicken fried chicken.
see, chicken fried steak I love still because it's thinner, it's not as
Right.
chewy.
If it's cooked well, it's
yeah.
not
Ooh,
as
yeah.
chewy because it's already tenderized. And,
Yeah. It's got
and
batter on it. It's got covered in gravy. Yeah. Give me a chicken fried steak every day.
So it's really kind of a mood at that point
Yeah,
as to
yeah.
whether I want a chicken fried steak with some white gravy on top.
yeah.
So good. I love me some white gravy. It's so good. Or a regular steak. It really depends on my mood. Like
But
I
even the best of all best steaks to me, it's still like
hey, and
it's still
you
like
know,
you're
to each his own.
Yeah, that's true.
At
chewing
that
off a
point,
piece of rubber.
At that point, to each
Well,
his
it also depends on who's cooking it and how they're cooking it too.
I've
I
had
mean,
some pretty expensive steaks.
The best steaks I've had were some pretty decent steaks from HEB cooked on a salt block with a little butter. Fantastic. I loved it.
I'll let you do me a
It's
steak
great.
one time and see if it's any different.
If
with
you
mashed
don't eat it,
potatoes,
I'll eat
and
it.
I will
Oh.
come.
I've made it. It's so I have. In fact, I have a picture of it on my phone because of how
So proud
glorious
of
the
it?
plate looked. It was so good. It was. Look, I'll show you.
With
Look
some
at it right
mac
here.
and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese would be in mine.
Ooh, but the kind where it's like mac and cheese, it's like soaking in Velveeta, and then you stick that sucker in the oven with a little bit of breadcrumbs on top, and then it gets crispy. Ooh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Look, see.
Oh,
It was so good.
ooh, can you make me some?
It was so good. It was such a good meal. It was so delicious. Look at that broccoli. It's just the perfect green.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Some grilled asparagus. Oh, that's really good too. That's a new favorite. I didn't used to not
Grilled
like
experience.
grilled asparagus, but it's pretty tasty.
There's not a lot of things I want to eat. There's things I prefer.
This is true.
And
But I'm a big fan of seafood. Like I love
seafood's
I love
great.
some
Yeah.
shrimp.
oh man,
I love shrimp. Oh, my
Steak
favorite.
with
One of
grilled
my favorite
shrimp.
Steak and
sides-
shrimp.
One of my favorite sides for seafood is hush puppies. I love hush puppies.
You know-
They're my
Ooh, if you
favorite.
want really good hush puppies, have you ever been to the Pine Tree Lodge?
No, but Catfish
You need to
Cabin
go.
has some really
No,
good
no,
hush
no.
puppies.
Sam will back me up because he's like, can we go to have really good hush puppies?
I've never been there though, so I
Okay,
can't.
Where
it's
is
out
it?
near my house. It's right on the bayou. You can feed the alligators there.
On the bayou.
Done.
That
They
used to
ju-
be.
It got.
Wait, where is it?
It got hit during Harvey, completely destroyed.
Where is it?
It's like the Bayou Den area. It's on your way to
Because you
Neyland.
remember-
So yeah.
Dorothy's front porch used to be out there, outside of Boart Garden. It's the same thing, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But you
that-
just
but it
take like
closed.
if you take the country road from like the Ford Park area, like where I live, to Nederland, that back area,
Okay.
it's in there.
that's-
Pine Tree Lodge, it's amazing.
Pine Tree
Great
Lodge. We may have to-
food. Really good. If you
Plan
want
an
like a
outing.
vacation, it's so good. And they remodel it. It's really nice now.
Nice.
okay.
But their hush puppies are legit. Sam will back me up.
Man, at my last feast, I don't know. I would have some smoked turkey
There you go.
or smoked chicken. Those are both very, very good. And then I would have like shrimp po' boys.
Oh, Tijuanitas would definitely be at mine. You just said po' boys, but
Oh yeah.
And then-
like what dish? No, all of
the
them.
menu
all
at
of the
Tijuana.
Give me
menu.
everything.
it's a feast.
It's a feast. But
We'll even add the caveat of like you won't get full until you're actually like want to stop. Like you could just eat it all.
I wish that
Just
was a real thing.
enjoy
like
every
a
bite.
last,
about.
like equivalent almost to like a last meal.
Almost like you just
wanna
enjoy
have-
every bite.
Yeah, exactly. But I would have gumbo too there. Gumbo and and potato salad.
Gumbo potato salad.
Potato salad.
Okay.
So that's a very southwest.
What
Southeast
type
Texas.
of potato salad?
what?
Yeah, there's
What
different
type of
types.
potato
Mustard.
salad?
Yes, I'm very much a mustard base.
I mean, I don't mind the mustard. I don't mind the
I
mustard.
mean, I
potato
like
salad,
both, but the thing is, in my experience, most of the time the mustard potato salads are better than the mayonnaise ones.
most of them are. But my grandma's is a mayonnaise one. So. But it's not mayonnaise. It's Miracle Whip.
Oh, even worse.
You and your Miracle Whip.
Are there
do
pickles?
like
Or is there like that pickle relish stuff in it?
No,
Okay, I'd be
it's
willing
eggs,
to. I'd be willing
salt
to try
and
it.
pepper, Miracle Whip.
I hate that pickle relish stuff that some people put in it. I have to be honest. When we had our gumbo cook-off a few weeks ago, someone brought a potato salad that had so much of that in it. I was like, I can't even.
I don't
can't
mind
even
that.
eat it.
I
just
like
can't
that.
eat it.
Most of the mustard ones have that in it.
But like
Yeah.
pickled things, like just the smell of it and then the texture on top of it just makes me. It just makes
So
me.
you're just
You
not
know,
a,
you're
you're just
gonna-
not a
I hate
pickle
pickles.
fan.
I hate anything pickled. Pickled pickles or pickled.
Pickled pig's feet.
No.
Ooh,
No.
yummy.
Pickled beets or pickled
Anything
eggs
pickled,
or
really?
nothing pickled. You know that vinegar smell. Yeah, nope.
Have you tried
Not
bread
doing
and
it.
butter pickle?
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I can tell you.
You don't
that.
like them? They're like sweet.
I have to
Yeah,
admit.
I
like-
they don't
I like
taste like
I'm
dill.
just a dill pickle fan.
Dill
like
pickle.
any of the other variations, I just don't.
I
Find
have to
very good.
admit that I
One of
have
my
a
favorite meals is
pre-existing
Sloppy
prejudice
Joes.
to anything pickled.
Pickles
Well,
everywhere.
Did something
my
happen?
mind
Did something
say-
happen? Are you traumatized?
It just it's really
One time-
it's really the smell.
Somebody tried to pickle me. when
It's
I
true.
was-
I woke up in this container and I was like, what is going on here? It was a very frightening experience. No, it's just one of those things. And one of the worst things is when you go to Chick-fil-A and they do you wrong.
that single pickle.
When you order a chicken sandwich with no pickles and all they did was take the pickles off of an already pickled sandwich.
Oh, it's
I will take
ruined.
that back.
It's
You know that's what they do.
I will
We-
take that
we
back.
do this big, huge order for for hot arts is exactly what they do. So it tastes like pickles.
So it's like
It's soaked in the
meat.
bread. Yeah.
The sandwich itself
But
is
it's not a
pickled.
problem because
Honestly, I love having pickles on sandwiches. Like,
I put
A
extra
chopped
pickle.
beef.
like get
You're
me
more than welcome to
well,
pickles.
even just like a ham sandwich. Like I like get my bread, get my mayonnaise and mustard, get my ham, get my lettuce and tomatoes, some pickles and some salt
It
and
was the
pepper.
worst.
Some
It was-
Miracle Whip.
It was
Okay,
the
you goop
worst.
it
I would
on.
go to, I would
You
go to the
goop it.
That's what
Calisters
you're
and get a
supposed to do.
sandwich, and when I would sit in the restaurant, I'd have to tell them no pickle wedge because they would put this pickle on my plate, and all of this juice would slide over into my potatoes
Oh, yeah.
and my sandwich, and I'm just like, no,
Wonderful.
you ruin everything.
You ruined
Great.
it all.
No, that sounds amazing to me.
You and
Only
your,
if it
you,
was-
you drink those pickle juice shots after you run, huh?
No, but we
The
did do that a lot in football.
The sickle
Yeah.
I used to in
thingamajigs, whatever they're
baseball.
called.
We have like a whole jar full of the leftover pickle juice that would just be on the
Apparently, it's great for cramps and whatnot
Well,
after you run.
one
and all
thing that
sideline.
my
I think
coaches
it's
told me-
psychological at this point. I don't know.
One thing that my coaches told me was pickle juice and a banana.
Yeah.
I do
potassium.
bananas in my
Potassium.
overnight oats because I get bad cramps in my legs after I exercise. So
It happens.
bananas.
Bananas.
Button.
We completely ignored the other question, but
I mean,
I
do
think
what?
I don't even
Hey,
remember what it was, but
I
we've been
gave
talking
mine.
for an hour
I gave
now.
mine.
What?
I was saying like it was would like
an
why would you
innocent
be sus-
question
yeah.
that makes you think it's a trap.
Oh, obviously,
Oh.
though, do I like fat in this questions or that? But
That's
Ooh,
what
yeah.
for me. It's generally, hey, what are you doing next week, or what are you doing on this day? It's like,
Yes.
why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to know?
Exactly. It's
But it
always
depends on who's asking.
Yeah, that's true. Who's
are you
asking?
happy with your cable provider?
Yeah.
It's who's
Yes, I
asking.
am.
And also, like, it's one of those things where you have to make sure and say, I'm not sure why. You ask why first, so you're like,
You
oh yeah,
never
I'm
give
open.
definitive answers.
Does
No, I'm
anybody
not doing
ask-
anything.
No, my go-to is, oh, I'm having dinner or lunch with my family.
So you're
That
saying
way
you're
it's an
lying.
easy back out, just in case.
Yeah,
You
there
know,
go.
like, oh, I'm sorry.
that's fair.
like,
Good for
but
you
if
for
it's
not doing
something
that.
good, then you're like, oh, psh. who family
can
who?
wait.
What's
Yeah.
so it's so part of the culture now. It's not even really a thing anymore. What is the new? Do I look fat in this? Because nobody does that. Nobody actually
Ooh,
does that.
There's something I can. I'm, like it's on the tip of my tongue.
Or
I'm
do you
trying to
that?
think.
I'm sorry, I'm
Do
picking
you,
on
do
you.
you ask that
Stephanie. I'm
question?
just-
You're the only girl in the room, so
I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that makes me look like I'm pregnant. So
So,
But,
It's
but
one of
would
those
you? But
flowy
would you
ones.
ask?
you've never proposed this to Sam.
Like, would
this
you look
question.
at Sam and
No.
say, "Does this make me look fat?"
Because that's not a thing anymore. It's too much of the cultural zeitgeist. People know about it.
no,
They're
I
gonna avoid it
don't.
on
I
purpose.
don't really ask him. I'm just like, I look like a hobo today.
And
You
let
just
him-
kind of
I
wait to
just
see what he
state it.
says.
and you let him correct.
I just state it.
Oh,
But-
it's
but- so what's
fishing.
the new
It's-
one? What's
it's
the
called-
new one?
I think the new equivalent
Yeah.
is I call it fishing. Fishing for
It is
compliments.
certainly fishing,
Uh,
but it's okay.
but yeah, I mean, like, there's
yeah.
nothing like
that. Have you
super-
noticed
Nothing
anything
wrong.
different today?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Just asking for some validation. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
we
fine.
all know what's happening.
But
when that
whenever you do it too much.
Hold on, Nathan. I'm not following there.
Okay, no. What I'm trying to say is like when it becomes
Mallory,
like.
don't get too
I
mad.
know.
I know.
This isn't about you, Mal. Okay.
We'll tell him not to listen.
I promise.
When they do it,
I'm
when
talking
it's
like
like,
just
shut
people-
up already.
people-
I'll make sure I'm watching it with her, and I'll be like, oh, okay, skipping.
Well, it's like not like it can be with anyone, like with like friends or stuff
Okay,
like that. When
okay.
they're always
So
they're
what's the
seeking
new one?
validation
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
much that becomes like obnoxious. And it's not the same equivalent as to like what you're saying. Like, do I look
Yeah, but is
fat?
there a standard bearer for the new question to avoid?
Oh, okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Whenever people are like, hey, how have you been? Whenever you know that they're only asking, so you ask back so they can spill all their guts.
That is a good one because
It's been
even
happening.
if you don't ask, then
They're gonna
then
tell
they
you.
say, "Oh, this is how."
And then you're like,
This is what I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
The other
So
thing
anything you
is
said is
humble
not
brags,
valid.
right?
Oh,
Humble brags, yeah, that's a little bit different though.
It is a little bit different, but it's still kind of like that. I still feel like it's part of that whole fishing realm, like
Yeah.
getting people
Fishing
to
realm.
no, you look fantastic, or
like no,
You
that's
know.
great.
Yeah.
Question, but yeah, so I feel like we
Yeah.
still haven't found it yet. What's the question that's not really a question?
it's
good
not.
that
You're
they
not
don't
really
answer it.
supposed to give an answer to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Propose it to the audience.
Put it in the comments.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Leave a
in the
comment of
comments.
what's the
new-
question that you ask
Yeah.
that there's no real right answer to.
It's like a trap.
What's the sound of one hand clap?
It's really awkward because it's just air.
You sound like a penguin.
Oh. I feel like I break my wrist doing that. Just trying to
I
flap my
can't do
arms.
that. My hand doesn't go down that far. I mean, I could do it with.
You could slap yourself.
It's weird. But then it's like a hand cheek. It's not one hand.
Yeah, it's not.
Hand
I mean,
cheek.
awkward.
A one-hand clap is a snap.
Is that what it is? It's all
Maybe.
within the hand.
Genius.
It's all,
It's
all
I
part
have
of
such
the
a big brain.
It's a big brain time.
Big brain time.
If you were missing your other two fingers, could you snap? Could you really make a snapping sound?
Yeah, because it hits this part.
Oh, okay. It's
That's
not
what makes the sound.
The sound is actually the echo in your other fingers when it hits. So it's not as loud if you don't have your other two
Yeah.
fingers.
Might also just be because of the position of your fingers. It makes it to where
Well, but it hits
It gives you that momentum.
the tunnel.
How do you
interesting.
snap? Everybody snap. Or everybody's doing middle,
use my middle
finger
finger.
thumb.
Yeah.
Middle finger thumb.
What are you gonna do?
That's what I do. That's what everybody does.
I feel like when I was younger, for some reason, I used my pointer finger.
I remember that was
I
like
don't
a
think that's
big
right.
deal in like middle school to do like the double snap where you do like your
Oh,
ring
both-
finger
I
and
can
your
do
middle.
that.
Yeah.
I never even heard
This
of
is
that.
this is how we should start the show with us just.
Blaine hates this right now. He's editing this. He's like, why have they been snapping for 10 minutes? You know what we should do next? Whistle.
Oh, do y'all know how to
Scream
do
as loud
any
as
of
you
the whistles like with your hands? Whether
can
it's
whistle
like
my
the,
finger.
No, I could never do that. Oh, wait. You can't back up from this room if you're about to do it.
So the first time I
Everything
ever did
explodes.
that, so I was figuring out how to do it when I was in junior high. I think I was in 7th grade. And the classroom that I was in was one of these, it was a double wide classroom where these teachers team teached. And so like one teacher would teach all of us.
Team
one,
taught. Did they teach you English?
Team teached. No.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was,
Same thing.
it was actually English.
I was gonna say it, but I was like, oh.
Anyways, yeah, so I speak
Sorry,
how I
it
want
was
to.
too good. That
Yeah.
sounded
happens.
very mean when I said that.
Why are you so mean? Team taught, and anyways, so it was supposed to be a reading day,
Okay.
and so we're supposed to be at our desk just reading our books for whatever we're reading, and I of course have my book up, not reading, and I'm sitting here just trying to figure out how do people whistle with their fingers,
Yeah.
and
How do you do it?
it's somehow like I figured out. You just get this like almost flat wall type position,
Fingers don't move that way.
and the first time I did it,
I look like I'm eating with my hand. I'm trying to do this, and Stephanie just looked at me and she started cracking up. That's all she's. This is worse.
I just get slobber all over my hand.
this part of your fingers, like the
I can't make them
the
straight, though.
cuticle part of your fingers, rest them almost like right here on the edges of your mouth.
Okay.
Anyways, so
That's
anyways,
just-
There's a lot of wind on the mics now.
I'm doing it to the side.
I can
so
do
at
like
least I'm not
the
flying.
regular.
So anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm like positioning my fingers, trying to figure out how to do this, and all of a sudden it just clicks, and I just whistle as loud. I don't know that I've ever whistled this loud ever again, but I just whistled as loud as I possibly could, and everyone's head just kind of pops up and like looks around. They don't know anyone doesn't know who, except for like the 2 or 3 people right around me. Everyone just kind of looks up, and the teacher looks up from her podium. She just kind of looks around the room. She goes, "Well, thank you." And then everyone just puts their head
Can you
back
whistle
down.
a tune though? Can you like?
With
Some
not,
people can
not
do
with
that.
my
some
fingers.
people- I can do that. I can whistle the tune, but I can't whistle.
I mean,
like,
I
really
whistle
loud.
stuff
It's
all the
just-
time. If you ask William and Dalton, there's a particular tune. I can't do it on the spot. Like I can't say whistle this tune. I'm like, I don't know what
I
I'm
can do
doing.
that. Let's say whistle a tune.
Mary had a little lamb.
Andy Griffith.
Hey!
I don't think you would make it to the audition.
What?
What?
Not for that song.
There's a particular like. It's not a song though, but there's something that I whistle all of the time
go.
walking around the church.
That was good.
Yeah, that was better.
And
What about that?
But and they laugh every time I do it because it's just I just mindless. It's one of those things when I zone out, I just start whistling it and I don't know what it is. So it's kind of funny.
I mean,
Cool.
I can do the whistle where I hold my hands together, like in a
Oh, yeah,
cup,
do it. Oh, is it loud?
Sometimes it can
like
be.
that.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes
Do
if
you
I
ever do the like where you?
oh yeah, I can open it up and it like screeches.
I used
like
to
really
to be
loud.
able to do it like
Yeah,
completely
like
wide
basically
open and
I can-
super loud.
Yeah, I can do it like I'll do like whoa whoa like that and like I actually so we went to Maine 2 years ago to Acadia National Park and
Do
we
you
were doing
nice
some.
echo?
Oh well, no, because it's it has a very weird topography because it's like a coastal area, but the interior of like that island is kind of like almost like Smoky Mountains, like Ozark Mountains type of terrain.
Interesting.
And so it's very interesting. I might be completely wrong, but that's what it reminded me of.
You're talking about Maine.
Yes.
It's very wooded.
It's lots of trees. Lots and lots and lots
Yeah,
of
my
trees.
grandparents lived in Maine. We used to go there every summer.
But so I was started whistling like with doing that like my screech, and I heard a reply back. I was like, so someone else.
You didn't hear any banjos with that, did you?
Yeah, I just the Rocky Mountain Breakdown starts happening. It's like I've gone to the wrong area. Get out of here.
Mom, Dad, we should probably leave. I don't know what I just summoned.
You just hear like trucks and guns going off. Like, hey, get over! Someone's here. Fresh meat. But I started doing that, and you know, it was another hiker, and like eventually they caught up with us, and
That's funny.
And it was like, that was you? I thought it was my brother at first. And he was like, yeah. I was like, that's awesome, you know.
That reminds me of like going on trips and when I was in youth and we had to use two-way radios because no one had cell phones at the time, and
Yeah.
so we used radios
Remember
and
that.
we'd always change the channels and try and find other people on the road and see if you could find the church van that's riding right next to you going to the same event. We used to do that all the time. It's like, hey, we found you. That's you. And we'd start talking to them, get to know them, and everything. But all right. So how do we kick this thing off?
Kick it off.
Yeah, you said we're supposed to do an intro thing when we're done.
I've only
are we
listened
done?
to one
Did
podcast.
you just end it right then?
We
Is that
just
you
ended it.
Okay,
Done.
okay.
I mean, it's been, and I mean, it's an hour and a half.
So, hey,
How
let's
much-
show
how
how
much-
Blaine had to do it. Because Blaine, every time we come to the ending, he's like, I don't know. Here, let's one take.
Okay,
right here.
one take.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
thanks for listening. See us next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I have to say, and this is everything.
Just edit it in.
And
And
Yeah.
this is everything under the
I have to have a
sun.
voice clip first. I'm not
Okay,
gonna just
yeah,
edit
I
it.
know.
Is this still recording?
And this is everything under the sun.
And this is everything under the sun.
Under the
this
sun.
is everything under the sun.
And this is everything under the sun.
And
Was
this-
that everything under the sun?
I think
No,
it was.
this is everything under
You
the
can go
sun.
with this, or you can go with
This
That is everything under the sun.
We are everything
And
under
everything
the sun.
under the sun was the things that we just said.
We are the everything under the sun.
like under the sea, but under the sun.
We are the sun.
sun
With its rays upon our mere flesh.
beating down upon us. Burning sun.
The sun
We are the
burns my
sons of
flesh.
everything.
Suns will never burn out at the end.
All right, on three. On three, all of
Okay.
us together on three. One.
Wait, what are we saying?
And
Everything
this is-
under the
and
sun.
this is
Oh,
everything under the sun.
okay.
and,
ready?
and this is everything under the sun. On three. One, two, three.
And this is everything under the sun.
Jacob, that speaking of cringe,